Hi, I'm outside the new Renault Zoe electric. Now, this is the latest model, 2023 model. It's had a few new features to it. I don't know much about the old model, but all I know is it's got great halogen headlights, a much more aggressive front. There's one thing about it I'm not sure about is, where's the door handles? They're here. Now, the funny thing is, there's a little thumb mark here. I don't know whether that's so that you know how to open the door, but to open the door you would literally press that, which is a bit, I'm not sure if I like it. I quite like the car itself, it's nicely styled. But we'll start with the front. I've got the key in my pocket if I can find it, that is. Oh, don't lose it, please. This little device, which most modern cars have now, you can actually have it in your pocket. I'm going to get inside the vehicle. Now, I have driven it, so I'm not a complete novice on this particular car. I quite like the layout, but I'm used to a Tesla. I like a bit more tech. This feels like a normal modern hatchback. A couple of little things on it I quite like. Very big storage on the front doors, which is great. You can get a nice big bottle of water in there, or a bottle of scotch, but don't drink and drive. It's got a nice little area here where you can put your mobile phone and stuff. It's got a really nice feel steering wheel, good quality, and I like the way it's got the buttons on the wheel. It's got cruise control, and normally the cruise control's here, but on this particular car it's on the steering wheel. It's got a nice feel, and you can adjust the steering wheel too. Obviously on the Tesla it gets in the car and then it does it for you, but this one you have to do it manually. But it's got quite a lot of features, which is quite good. I'm quite tall, I'm about 5'11". I was 6'1.5", but 1.5 inches that is, but I've shrunk. So anyone over 6 foot may find it a little bit tight in here. But as I said, it's got plenty of storage, nice modern dashboard. As I say, I'm more into tech. Right, I'm in the cockpit, quite comfortable. I've adjusted the steering wheel. As I said, it hasn't got a lot of gimmicks on this car. I do like a bit of tech, but the screen is adequate. And I think you can upgrade to a slightly larger screen. But what I like about this car is it's still got the original buttons, because nothing worse than having to operate your controls through the screen. At least we've got air conditioning and stuff like that you can operate here. One thing I did find fiddly earlier when I drove it was there's no park. Most automatics in my eyes have a park. This has a neutral only. So, and it's quite fiddly, but I'll demonstrate that when I drive it. It's quite fiddly, to be honest with you. I'd much rather a button or something, or just nothing. Anyway, but we'll look at that. Also, the handbrake button. Again, you get used to it. I wish it was like more automatic, like you drive and you stop. You have to press it. I'm just lazy. But on the whole, it's a really, really nice town car. And to be honest with you, it's not cheap. One of these will probably set you back between 28 and 30 grand. This is probably the mid-range model. And the range on a full charge is between 220 and 245 miles, which isn't bad. Apparently on the older model it was a lot less, so they have improved this vehicle quite a lot. And the most important thing is it's electric and it's a great little run around. Now 0 to 60 I very much doubt if it's going to set the world on fire, but we're going to try it later. We're going to do a 0 to 60 on this car. I'm going to take an educated guess of my experience. Electric cars are normally quick, but this one I reckon will be 0 to 60 in about 8.5 to 9 seconds, which isn't that quick, but it's not bad for a little car. But we'll test it later. Top speed, I couldn't tell you, but on the whole, a nice car. But whether I could live with it, I'm not sure. I mean, if I had my M4 and this, yes, definitely. But as a car for everyday use, I prefer a Tesla. But again, you're talking more money. But this is a very, very nice car for what it is. I like this, the piano keys, really nice. Good feature, not so good. This is really, really good. You got little plugs here, you got a charging button, and you got various bits and bits. This is fairly standard, but apart from that, not a bad little run around. Now let's look at the boot. The boot actually is quite spacious. Let's have a little look at it. Not bad at all. Take out all the charging materials, and then you've actually got quite a lot of space under there. It's actually bigger than a Mini and bigger than a lot of the small hatchbacks. That's a plus. You've got your charger here, and I'll show you what we do is we charge the vehicle. You come to the front here. Now It's a nice little logo there saying Zoe. Now, in the boot, there's a charger, and it's quite heavy, but where do you charge it? Now, this is a good feature. You press this, and then we'll go out to the car, and we'll have a little look at it. This is quite cool. There's a little button you press just there, opens the flap, and then you put this in, and then a light will come on and say ZE, and it will charge. At least it's 4 doors. I'm going to go back to this again. I'm not sure if I like this. It's got like it looks like a little thumb mark there. It's a bit weird. And there's no door handle for the rear, so you've got this, which I'm not sure if I like or not. Well, never mind. You know, I always think of the Alfa Romeo with no door handles. That looked all right. This one I'm not sure about, but you know, not too bad. What's this here? Quite neat, quite neat. Maybe all black, maybe an all black one with black windows and make it look a little bit more aggressive. But you know what? Not a bad motor. But on the whole, a decent little package. A decent boot. You'd get get quite a few large suitcases in there, actually. That's quite useful. You got this, I don't know, quite, it looks quite solid, but I don't know how you'd remove it. I'm not going to remove it because I probably won't get it back on again. But now let's shut the boot. 5-year warranty, 100,000 miles, that's pretty good. And I do believe you get 8 years on the battery, but don't quote me on that. That's not a bad deal. 100,000 mile warranty, that is well worth considering. On the whole, a nice little package, some nice little switches there. One thing I did notice, which I like, you've actually got dials, so you can operate stuff, because in some cars now, everything's on the screen. And when it's on the screen, you often have to go into the screen, but at least you can adjust your heating, air conditioning and various things without actually having to go into the screen. So, but there's one thing I did notice when I was driving it earlier, nice little ZE on the gearbox there. The gearbox, or the auto box, very, very tricky to operate, because I was looking for a park. There's no park, it's only N. You need to put it in neutral, unusual. And it's also got a B on the side. You can see the B there. B. I'm not sure if that's standard. That is regenerative braking. That means basically when you drive sensibly, you may not have to brake much. But bear in mind, don't quote me on that, don't crash. But that's a nice little feature, which I think standard. I'm not sure on the range, but you know what? Not a bad little dial, not a bad little dashboard. I can see you've got your charger there. You've also got your cigarette lighter thing, the 12-volt socket. So it's all there. It's a nice little package, but again, probably looking at about 30 grand or just under. Not cheap. The good thing is the rear windows, they actually open all the way, which is unusual, because most cars they cluck. Then you go, this actually goes up and down all the way, which is a nice little feature actually. Let's get ready to take this baby for a spin. Now don't expect fireworks or miracles on this one. I'll do my best, folks. Great car though. Right, this little Zoe is perfect on roads like this. It's capable of 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70 mile an hour motorway driving. This car is perfect for town driving, and it would make an excellent driving tuition car. It's easy to drive, good steering, good driving position, and it's comfortable at most speeds. As I said, it won't set the world on fire with performance, but if you want an everyday car, and that's what an electric car is for, town driving, it is perfect little runaround. But again, it's not cheap. It comes in at about 29 to 30k. It's not cheap, but it does come with a 5-year warranty, and the batteries, I believe, are covered for 8 years. And bear in mind, there's not a lot of room in the back, but the boot is very, very spacious. But I'd say this is a great all-round car, and if you're thinking about using it for tuition, go for it, as long as you've got 30k. And the other thing is too, on a full charge, you could get 245 miles out of this, but I'd say realistically looking at about 210, depending on how you drive it. Right, let's launch this Zoe. And remember, there's no sports mode on this baby. See how many seconds we can do it in, eh? To 60.
Slight uphill as well.
Let's launch the Zoe for the second time. Let's see if I can better that time. Look at that. I'm flat out now. It's not devastating, but it's quick. Yay! 61. Woo! Right. Reversing's fairly easy in this vehicle, but as I said, it's missing cameras. I know you shouldn't get used to cameras, but they are a good safety feature. And use your mirrors, always remember to observe thoroughly. But as I said, I'm surprised it hasn't got any decent cameras on it, which is a bit of a letdown in my opinion, because cameras, they do show you what's on the ground. But apart from that,